ScreenBlast.
I'm gonna get it back.
I need a ride.
My mother is at large.
Why are we stopping at Mona's?
To get a gun,
Do you even know how to use it?
how hard can it be? Idiots use them all the time.
God.
Thelma the show? What? From HBO Max?
By the way, thank God this movie exists, because now when I think of anything Velma, I'm gonna think of Thelma instead.
Well, when I think of Velma, I'm just gonna think like Scooby Doo. That's it. That's just like it. I've watched way more Scooby Doo than I've hated than I hated of Velma.
You've like the balance of hatred to what you've watched.
To like my nostalgia for Scooby Doo, everything Scooby Doo.
Well, now that
It's not gonna default. If somebody says Velma, it's not gonna default to that show.
Since we did Mystery Inc., that was such a good show that again that also wipes away a lot of the garbage.
There you go. Watch more Mystery Inc. then.
Yeah, it deserves it.
Yeah.
It deserves it.
I don't have any time.
No,
No.
It's plus like I'm not gonna go home every day just to watch Mystery Inc. Like that's tough. But you guys can. That's why we're saying it to you. Thelma released on June 21st, 2024. That's its wide release. It had an obvious festival release earlier, but this was directed, written, and edited by Josh Margolin. This is really his, what you could call his creation, his craft, his baby, that sort of thing. This was literally like just inspired by an experience from his grandmother. Like that's the whole thing, and you can just see how much passion is in this. We'll talk about that later. But it was produced production credits are given to studios like Zurich Avenue, Invention Studios. These two are just really big supporters of the indie scene. Invention is more new to the table, but they've now had 3 films that are fairly well received. Zurich has had a much stronger swath, and again, it's great to see that this had the backing of a couple different studios there. Cinematography was by David Bolin, music by Nick Chuba, and gotta obviously send some legendary sweetness out to the cast. Number 1, June Squibb as Thelma. Wow, awesome.
Oh
Awesome.
yeah.
Glad that they're again like the whole thing about Hollywood is always like, oh, you get a certain age, you're not gonna get a role.
Well, like it's the thing about this is a big budget studio. It either has to, if it's gonna be somebody actually old, it has to be somebody actually really famous.
Harrison Ford. He got to walk around in diapers like Joe Biden.
That didn't need to happen.
That did not need to happen.
But like somebody actually famous, or just like a younger person in prosthetics.
That's right. Yeah. In fact, it tends to be more younger people just in prosthetics these days. But yeah, Thelma. Also, Everything Everywhere All at Once had the older actress from The Hidden Dragon, something tiger.
Jackie Chan movie.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden. Anyway,
Yeah, Jackie Chan movie.
I don't think that's
Bruce Lee movie.
I.
One of the two.
It's been a while. So someone's gonna be like,
It's one of the two.
How the fuck are you guys reviewing movies you don't remember? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
I haven't watched freaking Asian actor movies.
But
I haven't watched kung fu movies.
But either way, like she was an older actor. She's not old, but she's a mature actor, and usually she's not gonna. She's had a few roles, but really, it had simmered down significantly as she had gotten older. That movie boosted her significantly, along with a few of the older actors that were surrounding her in that cast of Everything Everywhere All at Once. So, indie studios are really allowing these actors that are still big names or even smaller names to get into the movie scene. I don't know if June Squibb had a massive lineage, but she acts the hell out of this movie.
Oh yeah.
What's up?
And we're talking about old actors. Well, he's not an actor, but like. I mean, during like when he
So
was
then why are you even bringing this up?
No, when he was alive, like I guess they were dragging Stan Lee everywhere they could.
He's what a magical like life at the end there. You could just do whatever. He's just like, fuck it. Like, I'm just gonna appear in any movie. Get a couple bucks, and that's it. That's awesome.
Do you think his like last couple cameos, like, did he even know what he was doing or where he was?
Well, remember, if you recall, they just had him do cameos preset. Like, they had 5 or 6 different cameos, like, where they just recorded him, like, in a setting, and then it would be surrounded by a screen. So they would just, whatever prompt situation, he would act it out, and then, ta-da. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they work backwards. We
Yeah.
have a cameo of him like throwing up a sign in the car. We're gonna use that. Here we go. Endgame.
So, again, June Squibb, A+. Richard Roundtree is the friend of Thelma that joins her for most of the movie. You have, and again, he's a legendary actor. Unfortunate that, we were talking about this once you had seen the movie. It is crazy that, like, they're talking about, like, the, like, aging and, like, enjoying your last days and all that stuff, and taking it to the idea of, like, aging. And he's dead now? Like, that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, that's nuts. It's like, oh, that sucks. Fred Heckinger is the grandson, Daniel. I think, again, he plays, again, everyone plays who they're supposed to be. I don't know if this is like, oh, he's been in something previous where it fits, or if he's acting it well, but it, like, he literally just personifies that.
I think everyone does a good job in this movie, and these are all like I haven't seen these people anywhere else. But then again, I haven't seen every movie.
Yeah.
Did you find out these people have a backlog?
I'll say Clark Gregg is he's been in quite a few movies as like usually an antagonist role. He was he's the father obviously of the grandson. He's the son-in-law to Thelma. He's the father basically in this movie.
I know. Was there anything significant he was in?
He's got a ton of stuff. I couldn't list it off bat.
Can you name something?
No, I didn't list it. I did everything else. I gave you I had the backlog of the director, the backlog of...
I know. You said, like, oh, he's in a lot of stuff. I couldn't even list them.
Well,
like, can you name one?
You can fucking look it up. How about you look it up? Fuck you.
Alright, fine.
Jesus.
Don't complain if I'm, like, looking at my phone. Fuck it off. Alright.
Alright, so we should have known this off bat. We were talking about Marvel 3 seconds ago. He's literally Agent Coulson, you know.
It's been so long since I cared about Marvel.
Yeah, like he...
I feel guilty that I didn't know that. Fuck.
Well, I will say, the last time that Nick Fury did anything that mattered, Agent Coulson was alive. So, like...
I have not watched...
that was the first Avengers movie.
I have not watched a single episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah.
I remember, like, back in the, it was, like, after the first Avengers, like, during, like, when Captain America 2 was out, there was, like, this show is super canon. Anything that happens to the MCU affects Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then after a while, like, it's not
I don't give
really...
a fuck about Agents. I remember that.
It's not really... Like, okay, it was on my radar, like, I gotta binge Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. sometime. Probably next week. Probably next month. And then, like, after a while, it's like, it's not really canon anymore. And, like, I don't give a fuck. Fuck it. I don't care.
10 years pass and no one gives a fuck. Yeah, no. But, yeah, that's why he was so recognizable. But I couldn't catch it immediately. I couldn't, like... I was like, I remember seeing this guy, but I couldn't place it in my head the entire movie. But then we just looked it up, and yeah, it's obvious. Like, fucking Avengers, dude. Obviously. Yeah. So, let's get into just talk about this movie, Mark. Like, again, like, this was a fun time. It was an honest time. But, again, I love this premise. Again, like, one of the key points I would say is, like, it references, like, not only does it reference Mission Impossible in, like, the movie itself, like, you see them watching it, which is cool, and that's a relatable moment where you're talking to an elderly relative, and they're, like, trying to catch up with what's happening, and you have to fill them in on all the information, like, you've been there before. But, like, it's the fact that, like, it uses that ticking clock plot line, but then it layers it. It's the story and the comedy that's built around that ticking clock plot line that really builds this movie into being such a fantastic film. Like, it really does do a great job there with that.
Sorry, my phone was ringing, but I realized it's the number I'm trying to ignore.
Oh, it was a telemarketer?
No, it was the American financing. And this I'm just going to ignore them.
Okay. Alright. Do you want me to repeat what I said?
You can just pause it real quick and just sum it up.
Okay. One.
Alright, so like the interesting thing about this movie is it's like it is trying to follow like the Mission Impossible sort of like style of plot, but you know it's already like very grounded to earth.
Yes.
And like kind of in ways more like lighthearted. So like you're trying to figure out how it's going to go about this Mission Impossible plot.
That's the key. It's like in a Mission Impossible plot, it's like again because we didn't go in, at least I didn't go in seeing trailers or anything. So usually when I'm going into a Mission Impossible movie, it's like they already show you all the set pieces. It's like, you get a general premise of what's happening to Tom Cruise, where he's going, blah, blah, blah. So you already kind of can skirt an outline of what's happening point by point by point. And maybe there's a couple things that you'll have to fill in, or that'll fill you in as the story goes on when you're actually watching it. But I think this was a much grander time because I didn't know where the story was going using the same ticking clock plot that they used.
The thing about Tom Cruise, and you're just waiting for what is going to be thrown at him because he can just he can jump between a building and a plane if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Thelma, this is an elderly lady who has concerning health issues, and is you're curious of how is she even going to move a block?
Yes.
How is she going to get anywhere? She can hardly walk for too long.
That's the thing that's awesome. Is I love how,
and it's funny because that's where the tension is.
Yes.
It's just her getting from point A to point B, but between point A and point B is just a couple yards.
Yes, the excruciating again, I love that again, in my notes, it uses the honesty of aging to its advantage. Not to it doesn't, it's comedic at some points, but it's grounded in reality, and that's why I think it works so good. Is there's the helplessness portion of it, where if you remember, there's moments where she's on the phone, she's calling people, she's trying to call people, and it's oh, she's dead. Oh, and she misdials and calls again after going through 5 or 6 or 7 different people, and then once her grandson picks her up, she's all my friends are dead. And it's damn.
That's existential to think about because it's I'm trying to live a healthy life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's possible I could outlive all you fuckers, and I'm just oh, they fucking died. Oh, he's dead. Let me talk to. I haven't talked to him in a while. He's fucking dead. Oh yeah.
Exactly.
It's I've been to every one of these funerals, but I just forgot. Probably after going to so many. If you outlive a lot of people, you probably already go into a lot of fucking funerals or heard about a lot of fucking funerals, and oh yeah, he's fucking dead. Fuck.
Yeah, the law, that's again, that's why I think it's such it's tangibly this movie could have been tangibly depressing, but it's not. It's just an honest but fun journey with a character that's in an aged situation. That's it. You could imagine that you could do this movie right now with Joe Biden in the White House trying to get to the debate.
Oh yeah.
No joke. You could literally just do this plot with any elderly person, and it would be just as terrifying. But I do like that. Obviously, Thelma is given obviously more character as she goes on. You get to learn more about who she is and how she goes about things. Obviously, but yeah, what was one of the standout points of the movie for you, Mark?
Pretty much the relationship between Thelma and Ben. Mm-hmm. That's the son's name, right? Oh wait, that's the actor's name.
That's the friend. You're talking about the grandson, or you're talking?
Oh, the grandson.
Grandson's Daniel.
Daniel. The relationship between Thelma and Daniel is it's so I guess it's they call it the problem. I'm thinking about it. The fucking word.
Relatable.
No, it. No. I want to. Genuine? Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. It just feels so genuine and it because I can't. I know this would definitely be relatable to a lot of people. The thing is I can't relate to it because my grandparents were pretty much dead by the time
oh boo-hoo. Boo-hoo.
By the time I had
3D scrolling is sad.
Actually no, my grandma no, my last grandma died 5 years ago, but she never talked to me, so I didn't even know.
Probably because she knew you liked Sonic, you fuck.
Yeah, probably knew I knew you. I don't know, you did something to her and oh, Bryan's friend needs my grandson. Fuck.
Jesus.
But this movie made me wish I had a grandmother, or a nice elderly relative.
Fair.
That was just nice to me.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing about this movie is it's genuine enough that I think if you've been through a loss recently with someone that's elderly in your family, you may actually not you might come out of this movie like more depressed, actually, just thinking
yeah.
about like the fact, like if you're older, like there's gonna be moments where you laugh, but I'm sure there's moments where it's like you're fucking depressed, and that might just be what makes a movie great. That might be why this movie.
I think in some cases, if you're older and you're seeing this movie, you're gonna be like, "Where am I?"
Oh Jesus! Oh my God!
Where's the Joe Biden cameo? He wouldn't he can easily get a cameo because he wouldn't even know he's being recorded.
Yeah, is he the Stary guy? The guy Stary?
Probably.
Yeah,
That was probably him in prosthetics.
Yeah.
He didn't even know he's in the movie. He's like put prosthetics on him like while he was just like fucking sitting down.
Yeah, what I want to say, one of the things I got to shout out the cinematography and the directing, because like this, like I'd say this is like one of the more tangible movies. You got to like reach out and actually feel where they are. Like these are actual settings, like none of these places feel like movie sets at all. These all feel like, oh, that's an elderly person's house, or this is a nursing home, or there's a notably at the gas station, it's like, that's not a fake shit, that's not CGI overlay, that's not a fucking green screen. No, this is all just, it feels like like, outside of, I'd say, this might be the most, like tangible set movie outside of what Warner Brothers has done theatrically that I've seen this year, because obviously you had with Warner Brothers, you have Dune, CGI heavy, but still it feels real. You had Furiosa. I mean, most of that movie feels like it's like genuinely there outside of some of the wider shots that are obviously CGI.
I'll say more than half feels more CG.
And then
I love that movie.
Fair.
I love that movie, but
fair.
I gotta admit.
Yeah, I'd say, but a lot of I'd say again, we're gonna talk Bike Riders, but like that's another movie where, and also, you know what, again, indie movies nail this very well, but yeah, that movie and
most of these indie movies,
Late Night with the Devil obviously does a great job with that too, but I think this movie, it's like it uses places that are like just in any general town. It's like, oh, here, where are we going to what places are we going to use? A retirement home, a couple old people houses, Thelma's actual house, and a parking lot, basically. And these are just the back of an office park, right? Like, just real places. Like, I like that. I like the way that they decided to, like, not make this some over-the-top BS, and probably because they were capped at a budget, but it makes it feel more real. One of the things we talked about also was, like, that this is basically Perry the Platypus, but with an old lady. They didn't just steal that plot, but it is, like, funny when you think about, like, the old person that's doing the...
I mean, I wouldn't say it's, like, one-to-one.
It's
so,
not, no,
like,
it's
but
not,
it, like, you can kind of, like, I can see the similarities, not to mention it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, yeah, let's see.
Like, for me, like, this movie is, like, very, like, existential for, like, my age, because, like, oh my god, this is... Because the way Thelma acts is, like, how I know I'm gonna be, like, when I get older, because I'm like that now, where it's like, I'm still young, I can still do this. Ah! Fuck! Well, I guess I can't do this, but I can still do this! Or I'm still doing it, like, no, my body still hurts.
Yes.
I can still run, I can still lift this heavy shit, just like I used to when I was a kid.
It is definitely the thing of, we're all aging, and we're at this point where we're both getting closer and closer to 30, and obviously that's nowhere close to like 60 or 70.
We're having a hard time coming to terms with it too.
It's at this point I'm more. I'm more like it's happening, and there's no real, time's gonna move. But it's understanding that your body will slowly progress into...
I understand that part. Sometimes, I feel like it's gonna suck the day I realize I can't skateboard anymore.
Well, yeah, of course.
I know I'm gonna keep trying, and then, like, I'm gonna have to give up after, it just nearly kills me. Same thing with, like, lifting heavy shit, or, or just, like, overall just, like, running stuff. It's, like, physical stuff. It's, like, because, like, I at my prime, and it's, like, super fit, like, super physical and everything, but, like, when, like, I'm gonna dread getting older. I can't do this. Even eating. Fuck. I can eat, like, so much unhealthy junk and not die. But, like, I'm dreading like getting older. It's like, oh, my heart is having a hard time moving. Fuck.
Jesus Christ. I mean, again, that's just. I think that's just. I don't know if the movie this movie doesn't even touch on. I think you just have an existential crisis.
No. I mean, no. That's the idea. No, it touches on the idea of like you're getting old.
Of being of that age. I think.
No, well, yeah.
Not that you're getting older, but that you already are at that age. Like, I think that's the thing.
I know you can't do everything you're used to.
Yes.
You have to come to terms. You can't do everything you used to.
Well, yes, absolutely.
My thing is, I'm not there now. I mean, I know I'm going to get there at a certain point, and you just like you figure out the hard way that it's like, oh,
of course,
you can't do this. You have no physical ability to do this anymore.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I'm just briefly. I mean, that's the whole thing with this. Like the thing I have, the neuromuscular thing I have is just like like you accept it. You build off of what you can, in workouts and muscle wise, and you do what you can, but you don't overtax yourself to the point of like losing it, but just accepting that and also working toward whatever you can to keep working. I guess because I've leveled that skill tree now of like, oh, I know.
You also lost a leg before.
I didn't lose a leg. Can we?
Well, not literally.
It was just neuromuscular, right? So
yeah.
In that situation,
you had to change your kind of lifestyle.
Yes, exactly. Right?
That's
so that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like
I haven't gotten there yet.
Right. So like,
but I dread getting there.
Yes. So the skill tree of knowing that like is like, oh, like that's gonna happen, and it sucks. But just learning how to work with it, kind of weaving. But yeah, no, it's definitely like something that everyone will have to eventually acknowledge, right? And this movie, again, like one of the things I love is like how it interprets what the expectations are for that age. Whatever age, when you become less able to do what you could, right? Like, one of the things that was shoved toward Thelma was this retirement home thing. And I love that the movie at the end does not have her in the retirement home. It still gives her the choice of, all right, acknowledging that, but still being her, like, who she is. And she's not like Ben, who is much more structured and needs that structure to stay in basically in that youthful present state. You know what I mean? Like, Ben needs that clock time of I'm here, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this in a retirement home as well with people that I know and recognize and having that community around me. That's around him. That's what Ben needs. But that's not what Thelma needs. That's not what everyone needs. But always and forever, in a lot of elderly.
I think that's more like that's what just Thelma wants, and it's like she just like
yes.
This is where she wants to. This is how she wants to live out her old age, because this is the way she chooses to live out. Because it's maybe like it could be safer for her to be in a retirement home. I
didn't say that it's safe to be in a retirement home. So.
No. You said like this is what she needs, but I feel like this is just what she wants.
No, I didn't say that's what she needs.
You just said what she needs.
No, I didn't end the. Did I say that's what she needs?
Yes.
I said that's what Ben needs. That's where I said that's what Ben needs. He needs structure. He needs organization. He needs a community around him. But what Thelma needs is being at home in a place that's familiar.
You just said it.
In a place that's familiar. Yeah, at her house. That's what I said. Like, in the place that's familiar. Not the senior center.
I know, I'm saying, I mean, if I was, like, one of the family members, I feel like she would, like, need to be in a senior center. But, like, she wants to live out her old age in her house, and, like, she's, like, she just, like, trying to make sure she keeps that comfortable lifestyle, because, like, another example, I don't think that, like, the movie is trying to say, like, this is where Thelma could end up, but, like, when they go to her friend's house, who's living alone, but she has dementia, like, that's just the way she's living. Yep.
That was one of the moments where it's like, again, it's clear, like, the movie's trying its best just to make the best out of a dour situation, which is they're playing this Mission Impossible-esque situation. There's a lot of, like, tension of, like, the timing, but the timing doesn't actually matter. But like we see when Thelma gets back downstairs, the timing never mattered because her friend had forgotten everything, which was incredibly depressing in reality. Like, it was depressing. But the movie is trying to it's trying to play both the truth while having this comedic moment of Thelma, like, rolling around the bed and trying to, like, stand on the bed and try to balance herself and try to get the gun and all that stuff, and then and Ben trying to, like, talk to her friend as if, like, all right, let's extend time. She's not gonna, like, so she doesn't think about what Thelma might be doing.
Like, that helps this movie's case. There's, like, how genuine it is, because I've met all these, like, elderly types. I've met the independent, the very independent elderly person, the elderly person that knows when he meets people, and they'll let you know when, like, he'll, like, that's her friend in the movie. And then I met, like, the one that has pure dementia, that's my mother right there.
Yeah.
Like, just, they're nice, but, like, they don't, like, they can't hold a conversation because they can't remember what they were saying, like, from the past 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, it's very well observed, and I love, like, the moments where, like, she stops to, like, another elderly and, like, I know you from somewhere. And, like, they're naming off people and, like, no, he's not familiar. And then they just, like, after a certain while, like, they just, like, greet each other, like, goodbye, like, well, have a good one.
Exactly.
Like, I've seen this behavior before.
Absolutely.
Actually, I think it hasn't been recently, but I had elderlies do that to me, like, don't I know you?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like straight out of off the street right there. That's not even like, there's no fiction in a lot of these situational moments. There's no fiction at all in so many of these moments of, like, just dialogue, you know what I mean? Like, notably when they're on the street. But, like, when, again, like I said before, when she's on the phone just trying to go through all the people, but she's, like, just sitting at the park bench or whatever, like that, and just an old woman just sitting at a park bench trying to figure stuff out. I think everyone's seen that, like, where it's like they seem like they might be a little lost or whatever. But we've seen that before. Or, like you said, with the, when they're at the gas station, it's like, do I know you from somewhere? Like,
yeah.
Like, again,
like, I remember you told me, like, how that,
so relatable.
I remember, like, you told me how that happened to you. Like, you, like, the little old lady was like, don't I know you from somewhere? And it's like, oh, no, I'm sorry. And then she came back, no, wait, you're Captain Marcus from ScreenBlast! You like if! You fucking And then she, like, fucking laughed her eyes out, like, and then she died.
Like, it's straight up Indiana Jones, what the fuck? They melt right in front of me.
Oh, no, well, yeah.
Jesus Christ, they just melt.
She laughed and she laughed so hard she had a heart attack and died.
Christ. Yeah, one of the things that also is done, I think, pretty well is, again, the family dynamic. Like, again, like, Thelma does one thing wrong, and I think, like, people don't really acknowledge that, right, when you talk about, like, like, how family sees you. But you do, like, it's all walking on eggshells. Because I remember, like, the moment where Thelma's like, I just did one thing. Like, she's just, like, I can't believe this. This is how they suddenly changed the way that they're treating me. Like, it really, like, completely changed, like, the lens of how I saw many situations in my past.
That whole moment was stressful because, like, this thing I can't relate to is, like, no one is, like, something could resolve if someone answered their goddamn phone.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm like that's like, I relate to that anxiety so much. It was like she's trying to get in contact with somebody and, like, where everybody, and it's like, no one is able to answer their phone. Like, through, like, separate, like, circumstances.
In a situation that's critical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she did everything right. She did everything that, like, hey, she was trying to call any of them just to make sure, hey, like, this is happening, but I just want to make sure you know this before I send money. But, like, she still sent the money, and it's like, it already happened. But that whole situation is, like, again, like, I love the premise of just using a genuine situation that happens. Like, this is, again, this is all so grounded of just, here's an asshole that's taking advantage of an elderly person that is going to use money, and, like, such a disheveled person, mischievous situation, And, you know, she's just stuck in a scenario where, like, you know, what else am I supposed to do here? I just was trying to do what I could to help my grandson. That's it. And, you know, it just catches up and it fucks with everything, basically. I'm
surprised she had that much money. Well, they look like a wealthy family.
Well, I think it's like, that's like retirement backups, basically.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I think what that was. You know, like, plus, I mean, you're at a certain age, you're always, like, saving those little things for, like...
Be a miracle if I had that much.
What do you call it? Like, the rain check or whatever? Rainy day fund, basically.
Yeah.
That's what she kind of had. And, like, yeah, it's smart. Like, she, like, that's, I think, the other thing. It's, like, it shows that not only would, like, she's not so old that she forgot things, either. Like, she's not there yet. You know why? Because she remembered where all her money spots were.
Yeah.
Like, every one of them. And it's like, all right, let me make sure. Let me check. Yep, I'm gonna check this one. Yep, I'm gonna take money.
She was able to get to the post office all by herself.
Yeah, like she did all of that, but then everything changed after that point. And again, like I love how grounded it was in how the family perceives her, how the windows of freedom kind of start to shut, where it's like everyone's now starting to watch. Some people are saying they're the fucking elderly kid. People are saying, like, it's like everything's starting to close in, and it definitely feels like it's a tight grip now on what she can and can't do. And that's got to be, like, very claustrophobic as a person, where everything becomes limiting. And you're back in this child state of everyone watching what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, like, a couple notable things before we sort of wrap this up. Want to definitely mention the... scooter, I love, again, how this is directed. I love the bird's eye view helicopter shots of when the scooter is rolling down the streets. And it's Ben and her, and they're rolling down the streets, and it's, like, treated like an actual, like, Mission Impossible movie. You know, like, it's
mostly because of the music. Like,
and the music does a lot of lifting to immerse you.
You did say this would be a different movie without the music.
Yes. It'd be a completely different situation without the music. Maybe a little more like Arrested Development tried to do, where you don't have a laugh track, but it changes the dynamic. But, like, the music does a lot of heavy lifting in situations that would be depressing in others. I would say the biggest moment that kind of, I think, loses that immersion for me is when the scooter just gets smacked and turns, like, blows up. It was worth the laugh, but it threw me out of, like, it threw me out.
Was it a quick camera cut?
The quick camera cut.
The quick camera, like,
scooter, like, it turns. Where's the scooter? And then, like, they just threw me out of the movie for a second, just because that felt like it wasn't the tone of the movie at all. But it was worth the laugh. Like, I laughed at it, but it was like, no, everything seems like that wouldn't happen in that moment from everything else.
Yeah, no other gag had that pacing, but, like, it's still, It was so quick, it didn't really take it out for me.
No. I mean, I was right back in.
Because, like, I can tell you a gag that took me out of the movie, and that was at the way beginning, and that was, like, the most recent, it was a fucking Tom Cruise fucking Top Gun Maverick Hunter, and that opening scene where he crashes on his plane, and he's, like, goes in that restaurant, he's, like, look like burnt and he's smoking.
Oh, I thought you were talking about, you're literally talking about, like, the different movie. You're talking about Maverick.
Yeah. Top Gun Maverick. Because that's a joke that's like not like anything else in the movie.
That's so that threw me for a loop, because, like, you almost want to delete that from the movie.
It was a fun scene, but that was a fucking cartoon.
It's so fantasy.
Because
you think he's gonna die. Like, because he can't die. Like, for me, if we're just doing a quick moment to talk about Maverick, I thought this is the end of the movie. Like, they're showing us the end of this movie in the beginning, and the thing that's going to be, like, it's a proud moment. He's testing something that has never been used before, and he's getting it to Mach 10, and this is going to be a proud moment for aerospace and for the military, and he dies in the process. But it's at the beginning, and it's set in the beginning, and he comes back, and he's walking down the street like he's Spider-Man, and it's like...
he's like a cartoon. He's burnt, and has smoke, and, like, it ends on a fucking sitcom line. Like, where am I? Earth? And then you can hear the Seinfeld music, and just, like, fades out. You can just imagine that easily.
That's the only moment, I think, in all of that movie. 10 out of 10. But that part,
It's not. I like that scene honestly, but like it's just not fitting.
It does no, because everything else is actually grounded, and that's the only part that's like, dude, if he jumped out of that, he's in Mach 10. He turned to spaghetti. What are you talking about? Like.